Okay, guys. This is second lecture for unit number 2, right? The name of the unit is Product Development, Technical and Business Concerns. So, what are different technical concerns and business concerns for our design of the product, right? So, this is second lecture. Basically, in the first lecture, we talked about mission statement and technical question. We talked about what are the different types of technical questioning and what is the outcome of technical questioning. The outcome of that was mission statement. What is your mission or what is your goal? What you are trying to achieve with your design? Design mission statement is different than the company mission statement, and we talked about what is mission statement and how to define that mission statement. Basically, we will be asking few questions: what you do, how do you do, and why do you do. So answering these questions will be basically your mission of your design. And for that, we have seen like basically how the mission statement is formed. Basically, what is the basic thing, like basic how question how will be answered with the action plan, question when will be answered with goals, question what will be answered with what is your mission, and question why will be answered with what is your vision. Okay, so like that your mission statement will be formatted, and the basis for that will be technical question. We will be asking lots of technical questions, and the result of this technical questioning will be your mission statement. Okay, then we have also seen like the role of mission statement and technical questioning. So this is what we talked about in last lecture. In today's lecture, we'll talk about mainly about two things: technical forecasting. What is technical forecasting and what is S-curve? Okay, so we'll talk about these two things today. What is technical S-curve? What is technical forecasting? Now, forecasting means predicting future, right? We get weather forecast, like what will be the weather tomorrow, or what will be weather after 1 week. So that will be depending on some past experiences, some trends. We will try to find out what is the forecast, right? So similarly, in technology also, we need to have something called as technical forecasting. It is basically identifying what will be the future or near future, or like what will happen in next, immediately after maybe say few weeks, few months, or few years. And it is very much important, to be, your business or your product or your design should be relevant to the market. It should not be the case that, by the time you come up with a product or you come up with a design, and by the time it came in the market, it is obsolete. I give you examples of, Microsoft, like, they try to come up with something, but they are quite late to bring that particular product in market. By the time, people have come up with many different ideas. So sometimes, what happens is that this technical forecasting is very much, what you can say, critical for business. You need to identify what will happen in near future, right? Like say, to take an example of say 2G, 3G, 4G speed of mobile phones. So what will happen in say 2021, 22, 23? What kind of technology will be used? So I don't know whether you can imagine, in the year 2010, people nobody would have imagined that people will be watching live streaming, like movies. They will be, using Netflix. India will have such a high speed, like, video can be downloaded. So those things were not what you can say imaginable in 10 years back. But because of the evolution of the 2G, 3G, 4G, this thing has, transformed so much. Now we can watch HD TV, high definition, crystal clear sound, all those things we can watch on TV, live match. So and we don't know what will happen in 3 4 years. So to identify what will happen in next few years, to take a guess on that, and and guessing that, do the technological advancement, it's called as technical forecast. Okay, it's a prediction of future characteristic of a useful machine, product, process, procedure, technique. So whatever machines are here, what will be the machines in future? What will be the products in future? What will be the processes in future? Right now we use laser cutting. Those processes were unimaginable a few years back, right? So to predict that the characteristic, what will be the new things in few years, that is very much important for from business perspective and for from the design perspective. Primarily technological forecast handles the technical attributes, right? This forecasting, there are forecasting means predicting a future, but we are mainly talking about technical stuff here. As I took an example of 2G, 3G. So this is something new technology coming up every day. So like, right now there is a wireless charging. Who would have thought that, charging will be wireless? So it's something like that, you have to keep imagining, and without that, if you don't do that, then you will be lagging, right? So how this technical forecasting is done? Determine the purpose, who will use the forecast and what need to be done. Like basically this forecast is used by whom. So determining the purpose, then establish time horizon. Then we have to use like short term, medium term, long term. Like you are predicting for a very short term period, for medium term or long term. Choose forecasting technique. What kind of technique you are using? Are you using quantitative or qualitative techniques, right? And depending on the type of techniques, your accuracy will change. Then collect the data. The type of data selected depends on the object and the budget. Like you have to do the selection of the data, execute and evaluate the result. So this is the way technical forecasting is done, and this process is again repeated. So it is not a one time process. Again, you will go through the same cycle, determining the what is the purpose, why you are doing the forecasting, okay, what is the timeline, what are the different techniques used, collect the data, execute the data, process the data, evaluate the result, and set, give the forecasting. Okay, this will happen in next few years, and again go through the same process, right? So this is what is technical forecasting is all about. Okay. So what is the purpose? It develops and establishes parameters and performance standards for new product. So new product you are giving, it will give you some kind of basis for the performance standards, right? For the new product. It helps a value addition to the new product and also improves the existing product. So whatever product you have in market today, this new product will have to have some kind of modification, enhancement to that. Okay. This interested as a strategy of production or to take to market. Right? That is the main goal of this technical forecasting. It prioritize the research program. So a research program will be prioritized with this technical forecasting. It helps in detect future opportunities and challenges. So basically, what will happen in future? What kind of challenges will be there? So it will help you in that. Is a communication factor to encourage the development of communication between various communities. So various communities are science and technology, industry and politics. The communication between these different communities will be with the technical forecasting, right? So there are, as I said, there will be short-term forecast. What will happen in less around few months, around year. Medium term, 2 to 10 year. What will happen in 2 to 10 year periods, and long term means up 10 to 20. So in Pune, what will be the condition of the industry in next 10 20 years will be a long-term forecast. What will happen in next 2 to 10 years will be mid-term forecast, and immediately in next 6 months, what will how the corona is affecting all of us, and all that prediction will be a type of short-term forecast, right? So this duration of the forecast is very important. So, and the obviously the longer for the longer period prediction is very difficult. It is very challenging. It is not very much reliant, but some people have vision for that. Some people can see what will happen in future. But because of the changes in the technology are happening so fast, so for long duration or the long term forecasting is difficult. Now, what are the choice of forecasting methods depends on. So basically, it is on what you are trying to forecast, what kind of stuff you are trying to forecast. Like what is the technology, what is the which branch are you talking about, mechanical or any other branch, civil. Civil have maybe have different materials. Civil may have different technologies in the future, right? How vastly the technology and market is changing. So how frequent is the change in the market? How much is the data available for the analysis or the forecast? What is the data available? What are the resources available for forecasting? Resources mean apart from data, money, like what kind of PC you have, what kind of memory you have. All those resources will be required for the forecasting. Whether the available data is accurate. Now the data, whatever is available for forecasting, is accurate or not. If it is not accurate, the forecasting will not be proper. What is the horizon planning, like planning horizons, like where you are planning it. So these are the few factors which helps you in a technical forecasting. Now methods. Quantitative forecasting means basically you will be quantitating, you will be quantifying it, you will have some number. It will not be qualitative, it will be quantitative. Like in that simple moving, double moving average, experimental smoothing, multiple regression, these are different types of quantitative forecasting. Second is qualitative forecasting. Like qualitative means it will not be, numbers will not be there. It's high, medium, like that. So for that we have Delphi method, market survey, factor affecting forecast, business cycle, customer plan. All those things will affect this thing. Expert opinion. So iterative survey, Delphi, interviews, focus group. We will be taking opinions from the people who are working in that. Like say if you want to take a forecast on the stock market, you will be talking to different experts in stock market, and they it will not be a guaranteed or accurate forecast, but they will have some idea on that. Trend analysis. Now what has happened in the past? Like in past, with when this thing has happened, what how it has impacted the technical stuff, or this forecasting. Trend analysis will help you in forecasting. Statistical method. Now you will be using mathematical models and all that for the analysis. Modeling and simulation. You will use some models. Obviously, like Google uses for for weather forecast, they use trained, they use models, and then they will predict. Okay, when this kind of weather will be there, then this will be the temperature, and this will be the rainfall, and like that. So this model and simulation will help you in the technical forecasting. Scenarios and value added, valuing of the economics method. So different methods are there for technical forecasting, and what kind of method you are going to use will depend on your budget, what kind of data you also. But this technical forecasting will help you in identifying what is going to happen, or what kind of future will be there, and accordingly you will do the design, right? So we have seen like what is technical, what is, first of all, what is forecasting, and what is technological forecasting, and how this technical forecasting will help you in design process, and what are different methods of technical forecasting. Okay, we have seen that. So now we'll go ahead with the next topic for today's discussion, that is S-curve. Now S-curve, there is basically technology of S-curve. S-curve is used in many places. There are different meanings of the S-curve in different fields, but we'll talk about the S-curve from the product design perspective. Okay. So time or engineering efforts. So basically, if we plot time against the product performance, how the product is doing, that we'll get some kind of curve, and that curve is called, is it is the shape of the curve is generally S. Okay, it is kind of S. I have drawn, manually by pencil. I have drawn the figure. So this kind of curve will call it as basically S curve. If you see that shape of the curve is S, right? So it is a basically plotting of the time against the product performance. How the product is performing. Any product, like when we start, when we come up with a new product, there will be very few takers for that product. Like that is the initial part of the product. What is the requirement, or what is the market, asking, what is the how many people are using it. Then it will it basically early adaptation is there. uh, then basically the second will be the early people who are going to use it. Then there will be early majority, late majority. So this is a majority of the portion in between, where your product is going to be used by a lot of people. In that there will be two parts, early majority and late majority. And then there will be laggers, means at the end of your life cycle of your product there will be some use. So like if new iPhone came, say I will start by taking an example of iPhone, like iPhone now 13 is coming. Okay, so immediately people will before even it is released, there will be some users who will be testing it, who will be trying it. Those are the early users, right? Then there will be immediately people buying it, those will be early majority. Then people will see, okay, how it is going to perform, what kind of reviews it is going to get. So depending on that, some people will buy in a second half of the life cycle of the product, that is called late majority. And at the very end, like there will be some people like me who will be buying it at laggers, like when new another iPhone 14 will be coming iPhone, then I will the iPhone 13 will be cheap, so I will go ahead with that. So I will be a lagger kind of user of that. So this is one type of plotting of the S graph. So if you see now, there is different. If you see this another main diagram, there are three curves are there, right? So there are different life cycles of a product is plotted, but it will have a different kind of curves, like first technology, second technology, third technology, like that your technology will change, but it will have different kinds of curve. So initial phase, then it will be growth, then maturity, and then it will be out of the market. Like say any product, it will be initial stage. Take any technology, like say 2G, 3G technology or printing technology, any technology you say, it will have initial stages, then there will be a lot of growth period will be there, then there will be maturity, and then they will be out of market. So this type of plotting of this life cycle of the of a product is called as S curve. Okay, it is S curve is used for the analysis of the market. So there are three phases, right? First phase, second phase, and third phase. So first phase is the beginning of S curve. It is a lower half of the S curve. The product performance are low and the widely spaced, right? This is not a space for the innovation. Okay. The second phase is basically rapid profusion. Many competitors join the market, then you will have a lot of competition will be there, and your product will be used in the market a lot. It will be now growth. It will be growing a lot, and then third phase will be basically it will be your maturity is reached, your the saturation is reached, and then new technology is coming, so your product will be slowly going out of the market. So take an example of say I am taking example of a basically a music or the way we are we listen music, or from how the technology for that is changed for listening music. So in when I was in college, so that time for a long time we were using cassettes. Okay, there were cassettes. They had a tape, magnetic tape, which is used to wind and unwind, right? So there will be two sides, A side and B side. If you listen songs on A side, if you swap it, you can listen the songs on the B side. So that technology was a kind of hi-fi technology. And when I was in college, that time Walkman was not there. I don't know whether you guys know about Walkman or not, but cassette player were there, and they were kind of bulky and big, right? And so then Sony come up with this Walkman, like you can put the cassette on a small box and you can take it anywhere. It is a portable, so you can listen music anywhere. So that was a huge hit. Michael Jackson, he showed it off, like you can take this Walkman anywhere, like that. So that time this technology was basically it started a long time back, maybe I don't know when. Old songs were available on cassettes. Then it slowly got matured, and then after that it faded out because CDs, I think somewhere around in 95, 96, CDs came. Then slowly CDs started taking market, and then all musics were and all everything was, people started listening on music because quality was good. Magnetic tape used to fade up, and then the music used to deteriorate. So and it was difficult to handle. It used to break. CD were much better in all respect. The quality was good and all that. So CD came, and CD stabilized around 2000, 2000, 2003, 4, 5. Then DVD came, Blu-ray came. So slowly there was lots of innovation was there. But again, that technology came in. It was not there in 1990. I think 98, 99. It came into India. Then it started maturing, and then CD, it took all the market. But by around 2008, 9, 10, it was matured. And by that time, a new concept, around 2006, 7, new concept of MP3 it came. Like we can instead of that song 100 or 200 MB, we can zip it, and in the 4 5 MB we can have a one song, and that song was, the format was MP3. Then MP3 came, and by that time slowly the technology of USB was getting matured. Slow, slowly CD. Now nobody uses CD for music. People use USB drive. People put music on that, MP3 files on that, and they listen to that. So then slowly this now technology of MP3 and USB is getting matured. So after now this technology is also slowly going out. Are you are seeing that, you are you know it is happening in front of your eyes, that nobody uses now USB also. People are using Bluetooth. They will be using a Bluetooth. They will connect your water system, music system with the Bluetooth your phone, and you will play music with some app on your phone, and you will play the music. You don't need even MP3, and you don't need even this thing to play, right? You don't need to download. We used to download it and play it, right? Now nobody is downloading it. People are directly online. They are going online. They are playing it, and they are playing the music on the phone, and putting it on the system, right? So like that, this three graphs also have one more graph now, the Bluetooth technology. So are you getting it? So this is the way the S curve is plotted: start, growth, maturity, right, and then out market. So like that, if you see, red was the cassette, green was CD, blue is MP3. Now this will again have one more color, like say brown, and we'll have Bluetooth. So like that, the S curve is there. So this is what about the S curve. This technology see overlap. If you see now, we'll talk about this. The technology of CD and cassette was overlapping. The technology of MP3 and CD was overlapping. Now technology of MP3 and Bluetooth is overlapping. So technology overlaps. The new one initially grows slowly due to the low investment, because the new technology is coming up. People are trying to getting used to it, so it will be having low growth. But by that time, the old technology will be having a high growth or maturity. Right? As the new technology become proven, often new market entrants, they take off displaying old technologies and becoming market leader. So sometimes what happened, like say with the phone, Apple came and it replaced Nokia. Yeah. There were time when 90% of the world market was taken by Nokia for the mobile phones, right? In 19, I think 2000, 2000 up to 2005. Then slowly, but because of this, smartphones, Nokia went out of the market, and so you have to keep yourself, as I said, previously, with the technical forecasting. You have to keep, do proper forecasting. Keep yourself updated. You have to come up with new technologies, new ideas. Okay, so the the development of the ESCO technology is evolutionary. So as I said, it's a evolution. It is not a one-time process. It keep evolving, and there are three phases: growth phase, rapid growth, and finally technology goes level up. Okay. So like I have taken liberty of from the Google. I have taken one graph, like when the product was invented and how much time it has taken to reach the like let's say this is example of US penetration in US, like how many households have this particular technology. So this is again S. If you see, these are all S curves with different shapes. Like TV, it took 20 years for TV to go from 0 to say 5%, but then from the next 5 years it went to 90%, and now in 40 years TV penetration is, what you can say, more than 95%. So almost all houses in US have TVs by year 30. But if you see electricity, it took like 20 years with the invention of the technology, 20 30 years, and then slowly it went, and now almost all of the houses in US have electricity. Airplane, it took 40 50 years to even cross, say 60 years to cross 10% of the population, but slowly it is going up, and now around 9 more than 90% people uses airplane. So similarly, telephone, like automobile is slowly growing. PC, internet, and mobile phones are, they are not more than 20 years old, right? PC is, I think, say it started in 90s, so around 20 25 years has passed. So it took 5 6 years to start growing. Now it is around 40 45% is having PCs. So all these technologies will have this kind of curve with different shapes, S curve. right? So as I said, existing technology curve, this will be end will be the diminishing phase, but this will be the growth and maturity. Then again, new technology will come through. This will be overlapping. So like that, the S curve will be there, right? The idea of the development is well explained with the help of so S curve gives you the idea of what and how the development has happened. So S curves are responsible for motivational product development. So for product development, S curve will always help you. Okay. The point where S curve reaches its top and gets leveled out is point basically called for innovation in the technology. So basically, when this reaches here, so you want to have now some new technology will come up and new technology will take place of this old technology. The initial stage in when the product is just launched in the market, there is not considerable development. So after certain time, there will be lots of competition will be there, and a product will start maturing. So this is the this phase. Then there will be maturity or growth phase, and then we talked about there will be a maximum or it will go to the top level, and then it will start slowly maturing, and new technology will come. So ultimately, SQRs are responsible to elaborate use of product development process in the market, right? So as I said, there will be first phase, second phase, third phase. The graphs shape will be like S only, but the it might take a different shape depending on the technology or what you are talking about, right? So this is all about the S curve. So basically, S curve is a uh, you can plot any kind of technologically development of any product or any process, how it is started and how it progressed and how it matured. Then obviously for each and every technology there will be something new will come up, and again new process will start, new S curve will start, and the plotting of this development of these products will help you to understand when your product is going to mature. Like say if your product is here, so you know that okay, your returns you are going to get from the products are not much. You have to come up with something new, because new technology will come. So like that you have to keep looking for the new technology. So this will help you in technical forecast. This S curve will help you in technical forecasting. So what we talked about is forecasting what is going to happen in near future, mid future, or long term, right? So this plotting of S curve, different technologies, how your design is is going to play out, how different S curves, different life stages are you have to plot against time, and then with that it will also help you in technical forecasting, and this technical forecasting will help you in your product design. Okay. So today we have seen two things. First thing is the technical forecasting. What is technical forecasting? Why technological forecasting is required? What are different phases like mid-term, short-term, long-term? Different ways of doing technical forecasting, and then we have seen what is S curve, how it is plotted, what are different phases of S curve. We have taken example of music industry, how it has changed with the technology, and how it is continuously changing and evolving, right? We talked about that. We have taken some examples of some products, like the maturity, how they have penetrated the US houses. Then we have seen different phases of the S curve, first phase, second phase, and third phase, right? So like that, now this technology or this design or product design, when you have to do, you need to know what is the S curve for your particular product. You need to know what is the technical forecasting, and because with the technical forecasting, you will know what is going to happen in near future. With the S curve, we will know what level your old product is there, and whether when you should come up with new new technology and new design. Okay. So that's it all for today. In tomorrow's lecture, we'll see customer needs and what is satisfaction. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.